Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough solutions. Today we're looking at slightly different papers. We're looking at the Aiming for Grade 7 paper. This is from a new release set of papers from edXL. This was released a couple of weeks ago. So this is, they've dated it spring 2023 and we're in April 2023 at the moment. So I'll go through this same format as usual. I'll do these in chunks of about 10 questions. I'll do a page and then I'll mark it. I'm going for ticks rather than the actual letter awarding, just to speed up the process a little bit. These are a great set of papers so far. I have spotted that there's quite a lot of crossover from the grade 5 paper on this. I did that earlier today. Feel free to check that video out as well. This paper's out of 80 marks, 24 questions. So I'll probably do a video of 10 and then probably video 14, although I might do a 10 and a 4. We'll see how it goes though, depending on time and video size. It is recommended that this is, well, no, it's told the paper has been arranged in ascending order of mean difficulty as found by students achieving a grade 7 in the summer and November 2022 exams. So questions marked with an asterisk also appear in the higher paper. I think that's a not a misprint. That's not been edited from the paper 5. Marks for each question are shown in brackets. Use this as a guide to how much time to spend on each question. So I'll kick it off then. Question 1 then, write 124 as a product of its primes. So I tend to, if I'm doing a prime factor tree, I will always take off the smallest factors first of all. So I'm going to treat that as 2 and 64. Not 64, 62, which is going to be 2 and 31. And those are all prime numbers, so I stop there. So as a product of its prime factors, that's going to be 2 times 2 or 2 squared times by 31. Okay, for question 2, solve. So to solve this, I'm going to need to start by adding 27 to both sides. When I add 27 to both sides, I would get 7x is less than 35. Divide both sides by 7, and that will give us my value for x. X is going to be less than 5. X is less than 5. Okay, and that's it for that page. If I bring up the mark scheme, I'm going to put it on my second screen, although my projection mode's a bit thrown out at the moment. Right. So I've got a mark scheme that I'm using. I'll do that on my second screen though. So for question 1 then, there we go. It is suggesting M1 for the factor tree and then an A1 for my answer. For question 2, we're looking at, they are saying an M1 if you got as far as 7x 35, so M1 and then A1. Okay, question 2. Delivery company has a total of 160 cars and vans. The number of cars to the number of vans is 3 to 7. Each car and each van uses either electricity, diesel, or petrol. 1/8 of the car use electricity, 25 use diesel, the rest of the cars use petrol. Work out the number of cars that use petrol. You must show all of your working. So really, I'm only interested in cars for this. So if I say 3 out of 10 or 3/10 of the vehicles are cars, I'm going to start by saying 160 times by 3 over 10 is going to be the equivalent to 16 times by 3. So we're going to have a total of 48 cars. So my categories for cars then, we've either got petrol, diesel, we've either got electric, diesel or petrol. So I'm going to start by putting them in a kind of a little bit of a table, and I'm going to say that electrics are 1/8, diesel is 25, and then petrol is what I'm trying to work out. So I'm then going to look at the numbers. So 1/8 of 48 is going to be 6. 25% of 48 is going to be 12. And then we've still got X, which we're trying to work out. So currently we have accounted for 18 of the vehicles. So 48 minus 18 is going to be 20. Sorry, 30. So 30 of the cars are going to be petrol. And that's it for that question. Right, let's just look for the mark scheme then. So for question 3, we're looking at if we've got as far as 60. Okay, that's interesting. If you've got as far as 16, that's 1 mark. Second mark is for 48. Then we've got 1 mark for 6, 1 mark for 12, and 1 mark for 30. 5 marks. Quite nice, quite good marks on that question. Right, question 4. Work out 1 3/5 plus 2 1/4 as a mixed fraction. So I'm going to split this into looking at my number parts first of all. So 1 plus 2 and my fraction parts separately. 3/5 plus 1/4. So I'm going to say that's 3 plus, and then my fractions need to go over a common denominator of 20. So I've times that one by 4, so that would be 12. I've times that one by 5, so that would be 5. So when I add that, then I get 3 17/20. Okay, and the second part, show that. So I'm going to start with this side. So I'm going to convert that to being an improper fraction. So 2 times by 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So 8/3 divided by 6. Well, I'm going to call that 6/1. And then when I divide by a fraction, it is equivalent to multiplying by its reciprocal. I'm going to cancel diagonally. So that's going to be 4, that's going to be 3. So I'm looking at 4/9, which is what we were asked to show. So there we go. Right, let's just put a couple of equals just to clear up my solution and go to the mark scheme. So for this was question 4. Right, question 4. We have got 1 mark for the method, 1 mark for the answer. For the second one, it is 1 mark for the equivalent fraction and 1 mark for the answer, or working it through to the answer. Right, question 5. Here are 2 cubes, A and B. The mass of cube A is 81. The mass of cube B is 128. Density of cube, work out the density of cube A to the density of cube B. Okay, right. Well, actually, these are quite interesting numbers. So that is 9 times 9. So that is 3 to the power 4. And this is actually 2 to the power 7. This is 2 squared. So this actually works out quite nicely. So density is going to be equal to mass divided by volume. And I'm not going to work out in proper numbers. So cuboid A, the density of cuboid A is going to be the mass of cuboid A, which is 3 to the power 7, over the volume, which is 3 to the power 3. So that is just 3. And then the density of cuboid B is going to be equal to the mass, which I've just kind of shortcutted to 2 to the power 7, divided by 2 squared cubed, which is going to be 2 to the power 6. So that's actually going to be just 2. So the ratio of A to B in its simple giving an answer in the form where A and B are integers, we're looking at just 3 to 2. And that works out quite nice. Could have done it more complicated. We would still get the same answer. It might have taken longer than the 3 minutes they suggest, though. Let's look at the marks, though. So it is a processing mark for the process to find at least the volume of 1 cube. So where did I actually find the volume? Here. So actually, the volume is that or that. And then a processing mark, find the density of at least 1, and then an A1 for the answer. Okay. Question 6, solve these simultaneous equations. So I either need to make my x coefficients both 20 or my y coefficients both 6. So I'm going to go for the 6's. So I'm going to call that equation 1 and that equation 2. And I'm going to say equation 1 times by 3 would give me 15x plus 6y is equal to 33. Don't know why I wrote 30, 33. And equation 2 times by 2 would give me 8x plus 6y is equal to 12. I'm going to call that equation 3 and that equation 4. Right. So I've got plus 6y and a plus 6y. I am going to subtract one from the other, and I've got a larger x coefficients in equation 2. So I'm going to do equation 3. So I'm going to do 3 minus 4 is going to give me 15x minus 8x would be 7x. And that's going to be equal to 33 take away 12 is going to be 21. So x must be equal to 3. I'm going to substitute that value into one of my initial equations. I am going to choose to substitute it into equation 1. No major reason why. So 4 lots of x is going to be 12 plus 3y is going to be equal to 6. So 3y would be equal to minus 6. So y would be equal to minus 2. And I'm going to do a check on that. I'm going to check with equation, I miswrote there. So I substituted into equation 2. So I'm going to do a check with equation 1. Keep pressing the erase button while I'm writing. So 5 lots of x would become 5 times by 3. That would be 15. Plus 2 lots of y. So that would be minus 4. So that would be 11, which is what it needs to be. So yeah, I've got that right. So x is going to be equal to 3 and y is going to be equal to minus 2. Right, and let's look for the marks then. M1 for eliminating either your x's or your y's, so that would be my no, not M1, I'm just ticking, that would be my mark. I've then got actually I pick up the mark there, then it's the A1 for that, then it is method 1 and A1. Okay, so technically I've awarded those in the wrong place. So it's method for eliminating x and answer for finding x, method for substituting into y and finding y. Right, here is a regular hexagon 6-sided, and a regular pentagon 5-sided. Work out the size of the angle marked with x. Well, that's going to be the 2 exterior angles. So for the hexagon, the size of the exterior angle is going to be equal to 360 divided by 6, which would give us 60 degrees. So that angle there would be 60. And then for the pentagon, we're looking at 360 divided by 5. 360 divided by 5 is going to be 72. So that angle there is 72. So x is going to be equal to those two added together. So x will be equal to 60 plus 72, which would give us 132. So x is 132. And that's it for that page. So question 7. We have got M1 to find the exterior angle or interior angle of one of the shapes. So I'll pick that up there. Pick that up there for adding them together, and then one mark for 132. Right. Question 8. Storage tank exerts a force of 10,000 newtons on the ground. The base of the tank is in contact with the ground by a 4 meter by 2 meter rectangle. Work out the pressure on the ground due to the tank. So we've got the formula for pressure up here. So we need to work out the area of the tank first of all. So the area is going to be equal to 4 times by 2. So the area would be 8 meters squared. Work out the pressure on the ground. So pressure is going to be equal to the force, which is 10,000 divided by 8. I'm going to cancel by a factor of 4. So that's 2,500 divided by 2. So that's going to be 1,250. Newton meters squared is what I'm after, and that's the unit there as well. So no conversion needed. Okay. I forgot another one. Nope, that's it for this page. So marks for that then. It is a mark for the method. Well, it's called a processing, and a mark for the answer. 2 marks. Okay, question 9. Write 500 as a product of its prime factors. Didn't we already have prime factor 1? Okay, so I'm going to treat that as 2 and 250. I'm going to treat that as 2 and 125, which is 5, and 25, which is 5 and 5. So 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5, or 2 squared times by 5 cubed. And the marks for that then, we have for a complete method to find the prime factors could be shown in a factor tree. So we've got first mark and okay, complete, and there we go. 3 marks available. 1 mark for a factor tree, 1 mark for the correct factors of the factor tree, 1 mark for the answer. Okay, question 10. P is inversely proportional to T. Complete the table of values. Okay, so if it's inversely, it means that if here we've had to divide by 4, here we would need to do the opposite, times by 4. That value must be 4. If I wanted to get from here to here, I would need to times by 5. To get from here to here, I would need to divide by 5. So that would be 20. And then here, from here to here, I would be dividing by 10. So here to here, I'd be timesing by 10. 50. And to be fair, I've done a slight bad practice, assuming that that answer's right. It would probably be better for me to advise you to do it this way. To get from here to here, what I would need to do is divide by 50. To get from here to here, I would need to times by 50. There, that way I'm not relying on one of my answers to get me any of the values. Okay, I'm just looking at marks for this. So the marks are set out slightly differently for this. They've got a bit more complicated. 3 marks are available, so I'll go mark for each value. What they've actually said is they've set it up as an equation. It's just a bit overly complicated, really. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Right, and that's it, the first 10 questions. So I will stop the video and start a new one very shortly.